down here, a word of warning, this exercise will definitely upgrade your sweep picking technique, but also might get you thrown out of the house. It sounds horrible. However, if you can stand the sound of this workout, you have the perfect tool to get your sweep picking technique to the next level. If you want the tabs for the opening lick and also the combinations we're going to use for this workout, you can find a link in the description below. Now, some people absolutely hate these kind of exercises because they only want to play things that they can actually put into use in their playing right away. But I think that's quite a short-sighted approach to practicing in general. If we look at the world of sports, for example, there's not one serious athlete that doesn't spend a lot of time on strength and conditioning. And since they're highly optimized individuals in terms of getting the stuff done that they need to get done, they would not spend a second on strength and conditioning if it didn't really up their overall game. And no one thinks it's weird that a boxer goes out running or actually spends some time strength training and not simply go sparring every day, all day. They have to do the sparring as well, but the conditioning will definitely make a huge difference. Now, there's not a direct connection between sports and music, but it still stands that the better control you have over your fingers and your instrument, the better off you will be when you want to play the music that you want to play. So while this exercise might not sound very musical and you might feel like you can't use it anywhere, the technique you're going to gain from practicing this one will be directly transferable to pretty much anything you're going to be doing on the instrument. So if you try this exercise and do it for a few days, exactly as I'm going to show you, I'm 100% sure you're going to feel that your overall technique gets better. And it's going to even affect other things aside from sweep picking, even though sweep picking is going to be the main thing that improves. Since we're going to work on overall synchronization, transition time, and the finger choreography, it's going to improve your overall technique. I've already talked about transition time and finger choreography, so I'm going to leave a link in the description below to that video so you can check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to demonstrate this from the 7th fret, but when you practice this yourself, you want to change the frets up every day. If you have a 6-string guitar, we'll play this exercise on 3 string groups. We're going to start on the top string group, which is D to E, then we're going to do A to B, and finally E to G. The idea here is that we're going to play 1 finger per string, and we're going to do this with 24 different combinations. And these 24 different combinations is like a classic in guitar technique practice. Since the exercise is going to be all the same on all string groups, I'm just going to show it on this one, so D to E. So the way that we're going to apply these 24 finger combinations is by doing the following. So instead of going on 1 string, like this, we're going to take each finger and move it up on each individual string instead. And then we're going to do the same thing but in reverse. We basically get a mirrored shape. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to do the same but from the highest pitch string, in this case E. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I put those two together, it sounds like this. So to do the complete workout, you do all 24 finger combinations on all 3 string groups. And you want to do each combination twice, like this. So you go. So I'm actually pausing in between here. So I played once, twice, and then I end on the first note of the exercise. And that's the way that I want you to do it throughout the whole thing. And since this is a sweep picking workout, we need to make sure that the right hand is doing its job. So what I mean by that is that you're gonna fall from string to string. So you don't want to do this. That's not sweep picking, that's separated down strokes and separated up strokes. So the tempo you want to practice this will be 60 BPMs to 100 BPMs. And I don't really care where on that scale you are. You want to be wherever you can do this properly. And I'm not talking about 16th notes or anything like that either. We're going to do quarter notes, so quite slow. But that's so we can really employ that transition time practice technique and the finger choreography as well. So if I do the first combination again and then focus on my transition time and also look at my left hand that I'm actually not flopping around and doing anything silly, I'm keep preparing the next finger when I'm doing the exercise. So like this. So make sure you use a metronome for this, and I would advise you to keep your foot tapping the whole time as well. And and just line up each note with the click. And to get the transition time, just make sure that you hold each note for as long as you can and then move as quickly as you can to the next note. Keep in mind that you want this to sound good, so don't overpick, anything like that. Try to really find a pleasant sound in your ears, as pleasant as it's going to be, because this sounds like crap in itself, but you can still focus on the sound of the actual notes and your overall technique. So once you've done the first one, you go straight to the next one. So it's going to be 1, 2, 4, 3. So 1, 2, 4, 3. And then turn it around. 1, 2, 4, 3. And a tip here is to actually call the numbers of the fingers out loud when you practice it, because this can be quite confusing at first. So the same thing with this one, twice, keeping everything in mind in terms of the transition time and the finger choreography. So once you've done that one, you go to the next one, which would be 1, 3, 2, 4. Do the same thing, go to the next one, until you've done all 24 finger combinations. The idea here is not to perfect any one combination. All these combinations will work together to improve your overall technique. So don't feel like you have to stay with any one of these longer than this. This will even out over time. And since we're only doing 2 reps per combination per string group, so 6 reps in total if you do the full workout, we need to make sure that each rep is as perfect as possible. So if you make a mistake, and a mistake in this case would be obviously any type of stringing or just hitting the notes wrong, anything that you wouldn't feel comfortable recording and sending to me, that's considered a mistake. So please keep that in mind, because it's a complete waste of time to do this type of exercise if you're not focusing on the actual technique. And also remember, we're training our brain as much as our fingers here, because the brain is going to control your fingers. So take your time with this and don't feel that you have to play it faster or anything like that. You want to focus on getting as quick a transition as possible from note to note, and you don't need to raise the tempo of the metronome for that. You can keep it at 60 BPMs for the rest of your life and still keep improving, because you can always get a bit faster when you go from note to note. If you're committing to the full workout, you're going to do all 24 finger combinations on the top string group, then the middle string group, and the lowest string group. And then the next day, you choose another fret. So that's also very important. So if you're on the 7th fret today, maybe jump up to the 14th fret tomorrow, and then the 3rd fret the day after that, and so on. So you can experience the different tensions of the strings and also the width of the frets. All right, now it's your turn. Please try it out for at least a week before you dismiss it. And also, if you're gonna do this, make sure you do it correctly, meaning do it exactly as I described it in the lesson. You have all the links you need in the description. You have the video for the transition time and the finger choreography, as well as a link to the tabs and the finger combinations. If you like this stuff and want more guitar workouts using different techniques and tonalities, you can check out my Guitar Gym subscription. You have a link down below.